Okay.
You see,
I'll
what
figure
you
it out
should
later.
have done, is the $sign.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Why? I'm not sure why you tried to activate Nekobot.
I don't know either. I'm just. I'm tired.
I don't follow Critical Role.
I don't either. Let's see. King of Fighters, okay.
Oh, that's not what I meant to do. There we go.
That's a no.
Just a bit, yes. We've sidetracked ourselves.
Just a little bit.
I don't know who this is.
I don't either.
I don't know who a lot of these people are.
She's kind of creepy.
We're reading back. We're reading back to fix the mistake. God damn it!
Time to fix the mistakes. Yeah.
Times like these, I really do wish that I was just already managed to schedule out one of the captive audience episodes.
Captive audience.
That was the thing I told you about.
You've told me a lot of things.
Yeah, I think I was going to shove that one off to the vampire, but basically one person reads a book and then rants, basically gives like a critique about it. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the local library would have the Mister, as well as I know it has Ready Player One, well as the 50 Shades series.
Mm-hmm.
An actual in-depth look at Twilight would be interesting, because the first Twilight book compared to the others isn't actually that... Like, it does the empty blank slate character thing, and then there's also the fact that Edward's unlikable, but the whole thing is, in that book, we don't see into the other male character's mind, so we don't have to deal with that shit. We don't have to deal with fucking Mike Newton being a jealous ass.
Yeah, well,
which would probably make him more likable. And I don't like empty character. I know why it's done. Holy shit. Stephanie Meyer even said, yeah, I made her the way she is so that young women could project themselves onto her. It's like,
I mean,
it's a thing done intentionally. I don't like it. Part of the reason why I'm not a fan of The Matrix.
Uh-huh.
As well as a lot of anime.
Mm-hmm.
But I get why it exists. I get why people do it.
Yeah, no, I do too. It's like, again, I agree with you. It's not really my cup of tea, but
because it's the whole thing of,
like that.
I don't want to imagine myself in this situation. I want to get engaged with an interesting character, and the extent of Bella's character is pretentious teenager. Until later books in which he becomes a manipulative asshole, but besides the point. Which the first book is also before Jacob becomes an asshole. Like, even fans of the series are like, yeah, we like Jacob, but then he became an asshole.
Yeah.
Because it's like, fans of like the first book were like, no, we ship Bella with Jacob because Jacob's the more likable guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever Stephanie Meyer decided to make him a legitimate love interest for the love triangle thing, which was only implemented after the first book, first book, she was like, no, it's just going to be a straightforward romance between this human and this vampire, which also brings up the question, even if we are going with the idea that vampires are undead, is that actually necrophilia? Because I'm pretty sure the majority of necrophiles out there, if you're out there, don't comment, but I'm pretty on this topic. I'm pretty sure the majority of necrophiles out there aren't would be like, no, I'd be kind of put off if they started talking. You understand where I'm coming from? Like, I don't think you can consider that necrophilia because it doesn't have like the hallmarks of.
Well, if it has an intellect and can speak and hold a conversation, then I wouldn't technically consider it dead, even if it is technically dead, or
like if it had died before.
Yes.
I mean, this kind of goes into the Jesus is a zombie argument, but but yeah, like, is that like, it's the whole thing of like, whenever people make jokes about like, like people fucking vampires, which is a thing that has gone on since vampire legends started.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like people whose arguments is that Twilight ruined vampires. It's stupid.
I mean, if you're letting Twilight ruin vampires, then you were never really a true fan of vampires to begin with.
Clearly Blade 3 ruined vampires.
Haven't watched Blade 3.
You're not missing out. Really, the only Blade movie you ever need to watch is the first one.
I've seen the first one. I really liked it.
Yeah, that's the only one you really need to watch. Because there's a lot of bad vampire media out there, and a lot of it, I would say, is like in my opinion, worse than Twilight. And that comes down to a whole bunch of things because that's supposed to be like the edgy and cool vampires. I guess Twilight is also edgy vampires, but edgy more in the poetry reading.
Honestly, I don't think. Okay, I hated Twilight when everyone was hating it because everyone was hating it. I was a dumb middle schooler, so that was kind of my whole thing. Now I just dislike it because it's like, it's not really my style. I don't hate it or anything, and
this is like. I can understand hating Edward because you've had to be inside Edward's mind.
Oh yeah, no, I hate
for the past few weeks.
Yeah, I hate Edward with a burning passion.
And
but
my whole thing is like, oh no, Edward's an abusive ass.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is just an abusive, misogynistic asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do take issue with the damsel in distress characterization of Bella, but that's just in general. But at the same time, not every story that has that is bad.
Yeah, and it's
all about like whether or not you care about the characters.
Yeah, and that brings me back to my point though, is because I don't necessarily hate Twilight. There are some things out there that super edgy vampires actually piss me off more than, well, not more than Edward has, but more than just like the way they're portrayed in Twilight. So what? They sparkle. That's not a big deal.
It was a reason for them to not go out and get it. I do understand it, and the idea of them dying directly due to sunlight is something that was only introduced in the film Nosferatu.
Mm-hmm. And yet everyone
later became part of popularized vampire lore, but before that it was merely that the only time you could kill them was when the sun was out, either because they were too powerful for anyone to be able to take on, or because of the fact that it was just like a whole magical thing to where even if you had staked them into their coffin at night, they'd still be able to get back up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was that sort of thing. And there's also, like, the whole argument of, the vampires are overpowered and don't have enough weaknesses. And that's also kind of a moot point, in my opinion, because their whole thing is just that the only real way to kill them is to destroy the body, which the most effective way is with fire.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there is the whole issue of how their ridiculous structural integrity due to them technically being made out of rock. But also mineral association has happened with vampires before. I can't remember what with, but it's not necessarily a new thing. But it's a whole thing of, other media has had overpowered vampires before, and that hasn't been terrible. Like, Supernatural, the only way to actually kill vampires in that one is decapitation or something that would destroy the body. Staking the heart doesn't work. Shooting them in the head doesn't work. None of that works. Like, the only way you can do it is decapitation, or, as a joke was made at one point, throwing them in a wood chipper. Granted, there are things that could slow them down. For instance, if you put if you were to get dead man's blood into their body, that would poison them, but it wouldn't kill them. It would more just paralyze them until it got out of their system.
It would paralyze them so you could decapitate them, I guess.
Yeah, basically. So a good strategy that was shown by that the Winchesters did was crossbow bolts that had been dipped in dead man's blood, so they could paralyze them from afar and then get them decapitated.
I saw this hilarious meme that showed a picture of, like, it was talking about, like, Twilight being like a D&D session, and it's like, you come across two human beings. What do you do? And then it shows Edward laughing, and he says, "It's just two humans. How bad could it be? Natural one." And then it shows the Winchester brothers.
Yes, but it's the Winchester brothers.
Yeah, no. Although, I like how we're already
find a vampire later on.
Yeah, I like how we're 10 minutes in and we haven't talking about the
Well,
other
that's
storms
because
that
this is more insufferable than the inner machinations of Edward's head. Think about that.
Yeah, no, that's kind of a. What did I miss? You said that Harry used fiend fire on a forest?
He used it in a forest only to burn the diary. Bear in mind, fiend fire destroys everything it comes in contact with.
Yeah, that sounds like...
It destroyed the diadem. Why didn't you put them in a pile if you were going to use fiend fire?
That would have made more sense. Also,
Mhm.
well, would have putting them in a pile have broken the code of Harry?
How so?
I don't know. I can't make sense of the code of Harry.
I don't remember a rule being that he couldn't put the Horcruxes together.
Yeah, then why didn't he pile them up?
It's
That's
not,
the weird thing.
well, it basically, I think the thing that went through the writer's mind is, oh, well, it's fire, so the only thing that will be destroyed is the diary. It destroyed the diadem, as well as the caster.
Mm-hmm.
It was either Crabbe or Goyle, I can't remember.
It was one of the two. They
One
shall
of the
not
two.
be missed.
No. But it killed one of them. But the whole thing about Fiend Fire is that, one, it's incredibly difficult to control because you basically just let loose a bunch of angry fire elementals that want to kill everything.
Hang on a sec.
Okay. Oh, God, why is my throat like... Well, I know why it's like this because of the fact...
Be right back, sorry.
Almost 2 hours before we actually started. About 2.5, actually. We played a couple games of Magic. I lost all but one, and that was one I did using a ninja deck because ninja decks are fucking hilarious. Like, no, I'm not kidding when I say that. Like, it's a whole thing of, oh, you thought I was attacking with this, but I'm not. I'm actually attacking with this because fuck you. But yeah. I mean, if you listen to the last episode, you already know the whole thing about why Fiend Fire was a terrible idea. If you listen to the episode before that, you know my favorite pizza topics. But yeah, it's just the fact that, like I was saying earlier, Twilight is not good. I don't like it. I don't hate it. It's just there. The author seems like she's an alright person, even if she does have some underlying issues involving gender, sexuality, and race. Which, yeah, that's not typically a good thing. But it doesn't seem like she'd go out of her way to insult people like that. It's just that she doesn't seem to realize that she's racist, sexist, and bit backwards in views of how it's okay, of how to express sexuality. Which, people make the joke about old slasher movies, the moral of them being, if you have sex, you're gonna die. And while with Death of the Author, that is a perfectly good argument to make, according to the makers, was the first Friday the 13th. The reason why the writers went with it was because of the fact that they were was in their minds, they just went, well, if you're having sex, you're going to be distracted, so someone's going to kill you. It's going to be a good time to do it. It was less an argument against premarital sex and more just a whole thing of it's something that would be a bit of a handicap, so to say, in a horror situation, which, of course, the whole joke is like characters fucking in a horror movie, but they aren't necessarily going to know they're in a horror situation.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're discussing people complaining about horror movies?
No. I was basically the whole thing we said earlier about how we would be inside Edward's mind and read this. One of the things I mentioned was the fact that I don't think Stephenie Meyer is a bad person per se. I just think that she has some concerning views involving race, gender, and sexuality. but she doesn't seem like the kind of person that would go out of her way to insult people based on these views. It's more just that whole thing of like when someone's low-key racist, but they don't really realize it, don't seem to realize it.
Okay, yeah.
And so it's like basically a whole thing of like I don't think she realizes what she was implying in those different matters. And one of the things I brought up was basically like the whole idea of the moral of fucking abstinence being put forth in media. And how the only reason it popped up in old slasher movies is because, isn't because of the fact that the writers were pro-abstinence, but according to like the writers of the first Friday the 13th movie, they were just like, no, when you're fucking, you're going to be distracted. Therefore, it'd be easier for someone to kill you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that makes
And it's not like characters in that situation would already know that they're in a horror, like a horror movie situation.
Yeah.
If they haven't had anything that was like, oh, hey, a dead body.
Okay, so that's where you're coming from. All right, cool.
Yeah, it's the whole thing of like whether or not like these messages are intentional or not and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Which,
gotcha.
given Stephanie Meyer's background, I don't believe that the message of like, if you have sex before you get married, you're going to die. I don't believe it was necessarily intentional, but I do believe that it is a message that in some way she does believe. That's what I'm kind of getting at.
Okay.
I mean, granted, I guess that's technically better than the moral put forth by the shapeshifters. In that child grooming is okay.
Yeah,
I doubt that was an intentional message.
Yeah, probably not.
Anyway.
Yeah, why don't we get to reading this? This is...
yeah.
Hey, the sooner we read this, the sooner
maybe tomorrow I'll hit up the library. Because the whole thing is with the captive audience, we're going to need to set up a date to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least a time when we can do that. So it'd either be that we'd have to like double book a weekend, or we'd have to figure out some other day.
Well, if we're gonna be doing a captive audience of like a longer book, like say Ready Player One, we're gonna need.
It'd be that I read it, I take notes on it.
Okay, and then you rant about it to us later.
Yes, that's what that would be.
Okay.
So that would be a whole thing of okay, I get a hold of the book, I read it. Well, shit. Just went behind the veil there. Fuck, I'm tired.
Yeah, let's get this.
We're on chapter 4, June 21st, 1978. Harry Potter attended the graduation ceremony of his parents, James Potter and Lily Evans.
Was that her?
Speaking of child grooming. The only joke I could come up with that was the thing involving Stephanie Meyer's portrayal of an actual group of Native Americans. Which, yes, fun fact, the tribe in that is an actual group of Native Americans. Needless to say that Native Americans are not too big a fan of Twilight series.
Yeah.
Even outside that tribe. He used another glamour this time, strawberry blonde hair, mustache to hide the features of his face, and unchanged green eyes. He could be a distant relative to the Weasleys or an unknown muggle-born wizard or anything at all. That actually just reminded me of a little thing that kind of annoys me about the Harry Potter series, and that's the fact that like everybody always says, you have your mother's eyes. I can think of nobody who that would be their immediate reaction. Particularly to someone who wears glasses.
But the people in the Harry Potter series, though, I mean, that's someone who you can think of.
Okay, how about actual people who talk like normal people?
Shh! Don't tell fanboys of the Harry Potter series that the characters in there aren't actually real. They might kill us or something.
Anyway, it's your line.
Yes. What Where was I?
The second paragraph.
Yep. First round of articles was out. Many not even written by Harry. The Daily Prophet was apparently feeling unrestrained after so many years of obeying the whims of the ministry.
Oh, also, Harry released a whole bunch of papers exposing Dumbledore's crimes or whatever.
Oh, okay. How'd that go?
Because this writer's a web. Well, they are currently being printed, apparently.
Oh, okay.
And sold to the public. So there's that. It was just said in that sentence. The first round of articles was out.
Yes. Okay.
You really need to pay attention to what you read.
Do I have to?
Yes. The image of Barty Crouch's son on a pike next to Voldemort had made. Oh yeah, he also Vlad the Impaler. Like the remaining Death Eaters when he killed Voldemort. He also killed Voldemort. Forgot to mention that.
Don't worry, guys. He's the good guy. We're supposed to relate to him.
Next to Voldemort had made the front page of the Prophet and would become an iconic image.
That's concerning.
You fucking cannibal holocausted him. Barty Crouch Sr. had been forced to resign. Well, would it surprise me that he'd resign after seeing his son impaled on Diagon Alley?
Remember, guys, in this story, Harry's the good guy.
Again, this kind of thing would work better if, there were some sort of introspection or at very least acknowledgement that Harry was doing shitty things here.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, well, I'm doing the right thing, objectively. Like, at least with the Punisher, people are terrified of him. Like, heroes, villains, everyone. They're like, nah, this is fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. I mean, either you do that, or you do, like, you pull like a fucking, John Wick to where it's basically slapstick, but with murder.
I mean, I guess you could call John Wick that. I never thought of it that way. Huh.
I mean, that's not even getting into the whole thing that the third and second movie both start, showing a clip from an old, like, black and white slapstick, like...
Oh, that would explain it. I haven't seen the second or the third one yet.
As well as the fact that the whole thing is that, like, the killings are done in, like, such a way that it almost, like, it becomes morbidly hilarious. And that's even for the first one, like, from the fact that his motivator is the fact that someone killed his dog, which is something that people can relate to, but also like the fact that it gets pointed out so many times.
It was a fucking blam! Shoots him through the head.
Yeah, like so many people like bring up, you killed his dog, you killed my dog, you killed his dog, you killed his dog, you killed my dog, to where it kind of becomes hilarious, and that was intentional.
It was funny because, like, after the movie, my mom's first response was like, all that because someone killed his dog.
I mean, you're telling me that you wouldn't? I mean, I would.
I would too, but like I don't have the training he does, so I'd probably fail.
That's not even getting started on the fact that a dog was like the only thing they could have done that with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if they had done that with a child, you would have had to bring in a child actor, and the child actor would have likely been so terrible that everybody was waiting for him to die.
Depends on the child actor, really.
Usually, it's bad. If it would have been young enough for it to make an impact, it would have been like nobody would have given a shit.
I don't know. The girl who played Tony Stark's daughter in Endgame, if they had brought someone like her in,
well, yeah. But we're also talking about a whole thing of like his wife just died, so and the relationship was implied to have been less than a year, about a year.
Yeah, it was.
It wouldn't have been that old of a child.
Yeah, no.
It would have just been a baby. And I'm sorry, but I have almost never cared about a baby in a movie.
Well,
it's just I am like at least with the dog, you have the whole thing of like the way the dog acts is endearing. Like the baby, you would have just had, like, most likely moments of it crying, or if it hadn't have been that, it would have just been, like, a distressingly silent baby, which would have been creepy. So you either would have been annoyed or creeped out. And then the baby would have died.
Depends. All right. So
I believe
my line is the Irish pamphlet. Is that it?
The Irish pamphlet.
Yeah. The Irish pamphlet and expose on Bagnold Fudge and others had already backed all of them into a corner. Cornelius Fudge was rumored to have hung himself this morning now that copies of his bank records had been made public and his corruption was known. Neither Bagnold nor any of the others would ever hold a ministerial office again.
You know, it's weird. I could actually see this working slightly better as a comic.
Mm-hmm.
Because then at least, like, the lack of dialogue would be supplemented, but instead it just drags on. And the stuff that is present isn't interesting.
How many chapters does this thing have anyway?
7.
Good lord. What else can happen?
The stuff that it has isn't interesting. Like, something that's this just over-the-top angsty would probably have worked in a comic.
Yeah.
Speaking of angst in comics, I ended up watching Umbrella Academy recently. And the reason I say angst, I enjoyed it. But you know what probably would have gotten me to watch it a lot sooner? If someone would have mentioned to me that one of the writers for the comic is Gerard Way.
Really?
Yes.
Okay,
I didn't know that until I started watching the show, and I was like, wait, that Gerard Way? Like, look up Umbrella Academy author. That Gerard Way. Okay.
Well, to be fair, we kind of saw a glimpse of that when we saw the True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys. I think he was kind of the mastermind behind coming up with that whole world and characters and stuff. But
I haven't looked at that one.
It's more of like, okay, have you seen the music video for Sing?
Oh, okay, those Killjoys got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was back during his. Okay.
Yeah.
I have heard the song Sing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Don't quote me on this, but I think he wrote the setting and the characters for that too. I'm not entirely sure though.
Wouldn't surprise me, really. But yeah, that was the whole thing though, is like, you know, if someone had mentioned to me who one of the authors for this comic was, I wouldn't have dragged ass so much for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would have hopped on this a lot sooner.
I really need to check it out. Like, I've heard a lot of things.
Someone had been, hey, there's this series on Netflix based on a comic written by the lead singer of My Chemical Romance. You had me at My Chemical Romance.
The former lead singer of My Chemical Romance.
Former lead singer. But yes, you had me at My Chemical Romance.
Mm-hmm. No, I get that one.
Like, that would have definitely been like, okay, I need to watch this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, I'll get around to it.
Yeah, no, that makes me want to watch it more, and it was kind of a passing. I might check it out eventually.
Let's see. Okay. The coming week would be even more tumultuous. The Dumbledore book would be coming out on Monday in America, and the rumors would fly quickly to Britain, plus the articles on the abuses of the auras, and the covering up done by the Department of Magical Law Enforcement would be out on Thursday.
Of course, after the known bumblers and incompetence were gone, Harry's job would only get harder. He'd have to sit in judgment of a number of people who'd never held power in the first timeline. What might they do?
It'd only get harder, much like him.
Who watches The Watchmen?
Harry's fucking murder boner. Just getting off like, oh yeah, I have Oh yeah, I have supreme power right now.
Fucking.
No.
Oh jeez.
Oh, that feels great.
Tom is uncomfortable.
Good. Would Dolores Umbridge still entrench herself there? Is that a fat joke? Even with her powerful grandfather Callus dead and exposed as a Death Eater, would Arthur Weasley, Amelia Bones, and Amos Diggory make the same kinds of contributions? Would an unmarried Moody remain a ministry malcontent? Would that vile woman Tatiana Edgecombe? Okay.
Looking it up.
No. My first thought with Tatiana is one of two YouTubers, one of which does literary criticisms and recently did both Onision's books and one of Lele Pons' book, which is apparently at her local library.
Mm-hmm.
And is bad. Or Tatiana Primagora, I think is what they go by, and that's the cross-dressing Reddit YouTuber.
Mm-hmm.
Whose YouTube bio, I think I've mentioned before, is one of my favorite things. I like long walks on the beach and wearing women's clothing, and I'm all out of beach. Let's see. Oh yeah, Tet. Did you find her out who she was? Tom? Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Is it my line or
no?
Okay.
I was asking if you figured out how Tatiana Edgecombe who.
The only one I found was a character named Marietta Edgecombe, who was like someone who conspired with Dolores Umbridge. So I'm guessing Tatiana Edgecombe is her mother or something. I don't know.
Either that, or it is Marietta, and this person just can't spell.
I don't know.
The vile woman Tatiana Edgecombe still tried to turn the Flu office into a home for blood pursuits. Would Kingsley Shacklebolt even enter ministry service this time around? The man who had another 2 years of Hogwarts to complete first.
Harry's head snapped up when the ceremony held in the Quidditch pitch finally got underway.
Why do I feel like this person would have the music played at American graduation?
Have what?
The music that's played at American graduations. I can't remember the name of the fucking song.
Pomp and Circumstance?
Yeah, that fucker. At an English wizard graduation.
I mean, probably. He's gotten everything else.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
This person's about as on the ball as fucking...
me.
I was gonna say the writer of fucking... Fuck. My Immortal.
There we go. Yeah, probably.
I forgot her name, her actual name. I just remember my name is Ebony Darkness Dementia Ravenway.
Yeah, my mind immediately just went
remember the character name.
Yeah, my mind immediately just went to Frollo Freak, and I know that's incorrect.
Okay, people commenting have come out of the woodwork for that one as people who want to bone Frollo.
Wait,
that makes me uncomfortable.
Wait, what?
I mean, I get the whole villain fetishization, like that's common, but I don't know. It's just that villain. Like, even if in the original book he was in his 30s.
No.
It's still a man who was, like, would prejudice, like, who would, like, attack people based on race and use his religion as a justifier.
Yeah, no.
Like that feels like fetishizing Westboro. I mean, like the lead preacher of Westboro.
So there have been comments about people talking about that, like
about the fact of like, oh, I still absolutely love the character.
Guys, get some help, seriously.
I mean, I'm not gonna knock him. I just, out of all the villains.
Ay.
Like, there's some sexy villains out there.
I mean...
I'm not attracted to racists. Racism is a turnoff.
Claude Frollo is anything but, I mean...
Well, again, you're probably just used to the pasty old man version. They're talking about how he was, like, in his mid-30s, which...
I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's like... I'm not gonna get into that. I mean, y'all do you, but like
my whole thing is just
understand.
I'm not attracted to race. It's just how it is.
He listed as Dumbledore and the present head of the Board of Governors, a wizard named Tiberius Ogden, gave brief speeches that garnered lots of applause, especially the bits about the ending of the Civil War. Minerva began calling out the names of the graduates, but she had a tough time keeping everyone serious during such a jubilant time.
Evans Lily. Harry watched his mother walk to Professor Dumbledore and accept her Hogwarts diploma. She shook the hand of Governor Ogden and smiled for the photographer.
Smile aloud for the photographer.
And gracefully returned to her seat. Harry looked in the audience. He saw someone who looked a bit like his Aunt Petunia had. Was that his maternal grandmother? He didn't see anyone who looked like a young Petunia. She'd probably refuse to attend out of jealousy and spite.
Okay. When Lily was... young Petunia. Yeah, maternal grandmother. Young Petunia. His Aunt Petunia didn't know about the Wizarding World. Vernon and... oh God, I forgot her name.
I thought it was Petunia.
Okay, I was thinking the wrong person. Okay, Vernon and Petunia. Yeah, they both knew about the Wizarding World. I was thinking the aunt that he blew up.
Oh, the great aunt. What's her name?
That's what I was I was like, wait. But Petunia wanted to be a wizard. He wanted to be a witch. Mm-hmm. That was the whole thing. When you see her in flashback, she is actually completely enthralled with the Wizarding World, thinks it's amazing and all that stuff. Gets verbally harassed by a young Snape because Snape's an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Just a little bit.
Like, there's a reason why there's this running theory out there that the reason why they became assholes was because of the fact that Harry was present, and Harry was technically Horcrux, which when Horcruxes are present, when Voldemort's Horcruxes were present around people, they had a habit of psychologically corrupting them.
Yes, but was he a Horcrux before his mother died? That's the question.
He was a Horcrux right after his mother died because he was a Horcrux as a result of Voldemort trying to kill him and his mother's love, saving his life, blah, 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 whatever. Mm-hmm. So the whole thing is that before that point, all we see of Petunia before she becomes a wizard is someone who wanted before she becomes a wizard, before Harry enters her life is someone who is enthralled with the Wizarding World and wants to be a part of it, but is incapable. Which is very much different from what we see when the book series first starts. So the argument that I'm going to make is that young Petunia would in fact attend Lily's graduation because at that point she wasn't an asshole because of Harry.
Yeah. Or it could have been kind of the crushing realization she'd never be a witch or whatever, and just it hurt her too much to participate, so she decided to stay home.
Like most people, like I feel like most people who are non-magical and have a magical friend wouldn't necessarily go that far.
Maybe if they're selfish.
Yeah, they'd probably have some self-doubt issues, but it'd be a whole thing of like, yeah, tell me more about the fucking Wizarding World. This shit's wild.
Oh, so kind of like a Muggle equivalent of Ron's dad. I can't remember his name. Arthur Weasley?
Kinda, yeah. Or there's that one guy from Fantastic Beasts and How to Find Them.
Oh, yeah.
He was the one in the trailer who had the line, I want to be a wizard.
The Muggle guy?
Yes, the Muggle guy.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he was like the best character.
I mean, I haven't seen the movie. I haven't cared to see the movie.
The first one's not terrible, but it's definitely nowhere near as good as the Harry Potter movies.
And the Harry Potter movies are all right. But yeah, like I'm going to make the argument that young Petunia probably would have attended the graduation because of what we see of her when she...
Yeah, and actually, I'd probably say that too, because even if she didn't want to go, it was her mom probably made her go to support her sister. And
I will say, I really hope that J.K. Rowling neither confirms nor denies the Harry Horcrux asshole situation. Because the whole point of having a fan theory is the whole thing of like the possibility of it being true. Like, as soon as your fan theory gets confirmed, it just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of empties out the whole thing. Like, oh,
Yeah, well, watch her just
Okay.
randomly pop up on this video just because.
oh God.
Somehow, despite everything, she discovered this small little podcast
he
channel.
corrupted Harry. Harry corrupted the entire Dursley line with his presence.
Uh,
But yeah, like that's the whole thing. Is like from what we've seen of Petunia when she was younger versus as an adult after having taken in Harry, and also if they were if they hated Harry that much, I don't feel like they would have just taken in a baby they found on their doorstep if she hated the wizarding world that much at that point.
yeah, no, that's.
I feel like they probably would have put him into like an orphanage.
Yeah, like but like, no, I kind of like I like that the theory of Harry being a Horcrux.
Well, I mean,
and
the theory is existentially horrifying, but
yes, it is. But even so, it's like I don't know. I still kind of like that because it's like maybe the Dursleys weren't all just terrible people. It was just dark magic.
I mean, the Great Aunt was a terrible person. But...
Well, yes, but she died, so no worries.
No, she didn't die.
Well, she floated away, didn't she?
She turned into a balloon, and she was recaptured. It was stated that she was recaptured, deflated.
Dang, I really need to reread the books. Like seriously, it's been since sixth grade since I read them.
It's amazing that I can remember this, but I can never remember passwords. Anyway. James Potter. James Potter. Here, the cheering came from all over before James even stood up. Wormtail was clapping. Harry still hadn't decided what to do with him, as the vile betrayer wouldn't be given the same chance to betray his parents this time around. Why was preemptively killing him before you even knew whether or not he had become a Death Eater even a thing that went through your mind?
Because he's following the code of Harry.
I mean, we all know that the proper situation is to seduce Hitler's mother before she gives birth to Adolf.
Hooray for time travel stuff.
We all know that's the best option.
Good night, everyone. We're leaving.
How do I prevent him from being born? How do I prevent him from causing World War II? I know. Well, hello, Fraulein.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, it's either that or you do something so that suddenly Germany no longer has to deal with the agreement from the from the end of World War I that tanked Germany's economy.
Yeah.
The whole thing is like, yeah, anti-Semitism was common at the time, but what really drove it up so much was the fact
that the blame for World War I was all shifted onto Germany.
No. Okay, yeah, the blame was all shifted on Germany. Germany was put into massive debt that they only actually paid off within this century. The debt as a result of the treaty.
I'm just surprised that they actually paid it off. Like,
yeah. So technically, World War I only ended like right before 2010.
Wow, jeez.
But basically, the whole thing was that happened. The economy crashed, and all the blame. A lot of the blame was put on bankers.
Mm-hmm.
Because weirdly enough, because unlike the Great Depression that the U.S. suffered, it wasn't caused by the banks crashing, if memory served. It was just inflation in regards to money. Mm-hmm. So like a fucking German banknote would be worth only like a couple cents.
Yeah, it got to the point where people were burning money in order to, because it was cheaper than buying firewood.
And so basically, the whole thing is that at the time, I guess at the time, Europe has of course throughout history been heavily Christian, and one of the whole things is with traditional Christianity is one of the things about it is that you are not supposed to take a job that involves you directly handling money, so tax collector, banker, that sort of thing. As a result, the majority of bankers in Germany at the time were Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have like people that at the time were not as financially struggling as much financially, they were all a group of people that people already kind of hated at the time. It just compounded, basically.
They weaponized the hatred and it turned into something terrible.
Yes. Basically. Like, that's the whole thing. Anyway.
Yeah, let's...
There's two options to prevent Hitler from becoming Hitler are, well, I mean, the two options I'm putting forth are either you seduce his mother before he's even born, so that he's not born, or you pay off Germany's debt yourself. You fix Germany's economy. Granted, you'd still have to deal with Italy and Japan.
Yes, but
Italy's a bit easier to deal with.
Yeah. And
anyway, we're all living in America. Okay. Sirius was almost jumping up and down. James's parents were cheering. Sirius was almost jumping up and down. His father made his way from the seat. He had the goofiest expression on his face as he accepted his diploma from Dumbledore. The time James was in front of the camera, a giant poof of smoke erupted near Dumbledore, and the man's tasteful, sedate formal robes became a garish mixture of orange and purple.
I mean...
Okay, it was a prank, got you.
Yeah. The entire audience burst into laughter at the Marauders' last official prank at Hogwarts.
Yeah. James returned to his seat amidst the laughter. Even the normally dour McGonagall couldn't keep the smile from her face.
Harry watched the rest of the ceremony with a content smile on his face, as he had never gone through the ceremony. With his nominal 7th year of school, a giant mess where many people died and the school partially leveled in the attacking, it was wonderful to witness.
Dumbledore dismissed everyone. Harry watched James, Sirius, Lily, Remus, and Peter as they congregated together. Wait. Lily's parents were introduced, probably for the first time, to James's.
Harry Potter felt a bit sad that he would never really get to know his parents, his godfather, his grandparents from both sides. But he had begun this mission for one reason: vengeance. That objective plus a happy life weren't able to coexist.
Harry quickly left the grounds before any of the Marauders could be bothered to open their map and see the name Harry Potter on it. He wondered if Filch already had it in his possession.
It didn't matter, as there was always more work to do.
Oh, that's right, because Fred and George nicked it from Filch's office.
Yes.
June 29th, 1978.
Alrighty, so my turn then?
Yes.
Okay. Harry had been busy in the week since his parents' graduation from Hogwarts. The book on Dumbledore had barely Dumbledore had made the rounds before Dumbledore lost his position as Chief Warlock of the Wizengamot in a no-confidence vote. He still had a seat on the body, as did all holders of the Order of Merlin, but he no longer determined its agenda or sidestepped the rules as if he owned them. I am tired. I'm big, guys.
My throat just hurts. Oh, God. Popcorn is not helping.
Yeah, you might want to get some water.
I already did. I drank it.
Then get more. Okay, just...
I don't have any full bottles right now.
Ah, okay.
That was good news. On the flip side, the Aurors were so disorganized with chaos in their ranks that no one was moving to round up the still free Death Eaters.
Ah, time for more executions, I guess.
Oh, God. Fiendfire!
Or death
I also
by
forgot
Vlad
to mention that last time he used the Reducto curse on people.
Reducto curse. What's
It
that one
blows things up.
Oh,
All he said was, "Yeah, it stunned. It put them. It stunned them or whatever." It's like, no, there will be multiple pieces.
top 10 non-lethal takedowns that actually killed people.
Okay, outside Xbox.
Yeah, that's a good channel. I enjoyed it. The articles that had been coming out on the WAWR problems had 7 of them on suspension in the overall department without its top 3 layers of leadership. The Minister for Magic, Ronaldo Helfgott, had just made Alistair Moody interim head OR after giving the man a public
Execution.
Veritas serum hearing. Alistair, thankfully, had come out clean of line, taking bribes and killing innocents and wounded Death Eaters. And then he was executed promptly.
But Moody still had to come up to speed. He had an entire department check for traitors, violent thugs, and every other kind of problem. And he had to do it all publicly to reinstill confidence in the Aurors. I don't think that will reinstill confidence.
Now you're making an inquisition. That's definitely not going to instill confidence.
We just had to lock up half of our force. But we're better now.
No. Execute half of our force.
Feed fire.
It's not the Avada Kedavra curse, so we're good.
We used Reducto to put them to sleep. Wait, what? It's mentioned at one point that he apparently hit one of them in the groin with Reducto. I'm like, oh my god, that man blew up dick first. His top half probably went flying hundreds of feet into the air.
Blam.
It said that he hit another person with 3 of them, and his response was, they won't be moving again anytime soon.
I don't think they ever will be.
I don't think they exist anymore. They are powder. They are dust. They are a fine red mist.
Critical existence failure.
It's like... It's a simple Google search. Because I gotta remember what Reducto was, but I was like, okay, I'll look it up. Oh, it blows things up. It said it reduced a desk once to a fine mist.
Yeah,
okay. You do it right.
Okay. What part of being a good guy makes that okay to use on human tissue, no matter if they're Death Eaters or not?
Like, that's something I would do.
Police brutality is one thing, but just exploding someone into mist? I mean, if I had the capabilities, I'd do that to enemies like that too, but still... At least I know I wouldn't be a good guy after that.
It's like, I'm not a good person. Apparently... Wait, let's see. Okay. Harry sat waiting... Oh, shit. Harry sat waiting for a moment, for a meeting to start in the woods outside the Lestrange Manor. He'd been keeping tabs on known Death Eaters from the prior timeline. He'd only caught a hint of this meeting the day prior from one of his listening charms he'd set in Nocturne Alley.
I think that was my line, actually, but whatever. Too late now. Whatever. It's fine. Apparently, the remnants of the Death Eaters were trying to decide what to do.
Oh, that's right, because I forgot the line, the part he focused on. He was focused internally now. Harry decided to give him some persuasion to work on the Death Eater.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Out of order, but there we go.
Yeah. Flee from Britain before the Aurors captured them, claim bewitchment, and use money to stay out of Azkaban, attempt to reorganize around a new leader, or just hope for the best.
Or they move to the Deep South.
It's your line.
Yes. I was expecting a comment on that joke. Harry set up listening charms nearby. Each one was tied to a crystal Harry had on him. He was going to make an audio recording of this meeting, which would fall into Aurora hands along with more permanent results he intended to ensure. Reducto!
That's how he deals with all of his problems now.
One of them explodes.
Rodolphus Lestrange, a young bachelor still, strode into the clearing first. After all, it was his recently inherited home. He waited silently for a few minutes before Augustus Rookwood showed up.
But is he an eligible bachelor?
Probably.
I think I found out that kind of makes me upset is that one of the seasons, I think the first person, the first woman disqualified, because like the hook for that season was that the Bachelor was a virgin. Okay.
Oh, we're talking about The Bachelor now. Okay.
Yes. And so the whole thing is that one of the girls, like her introduction, like when she first meets him, like when he's getting out of the car, like the car limo or whatever, to go into like the main household, she appears out front wearing a sloth costume. It just goes, "I heard you like to take it slow."
She got disqualified for that.
She was the first person disqualified. It's like, why? Why? That's fucking hilarious. Like that person's like, I'm insulted, but nice.
Hey.
That's fucking hilarious.
More wastes of space on television.
More reason white people disappoint me.
Hey, just reality TV in general is just terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly about a bunch of white dumbasses who happen to have too much money.
Yeah, depends on the show, but...
And there is no more food, the poor shall eat the rich.
And so, if there's no more room in hell, then the dead shall walk the earth. What's your point?
I was saying that we need to rise up and eat the upper class, but okay.
And I was making a comment that was completely non-related to any of what
Yes, you do that a lot.
Yeah. Sometimes it's because I don't get what's going on. Other times it's just because why not?
Still waiting on you.
Is it my turn?
Wait.
Because I read...
no, it's my turn. Mm-hmm. About time, Rodolphus said. I was beginning to think Avery, Flint, and you weren't going to show.
Rookwood shook his head. Avery and Flint aren't coming. They've apparently made up their minds. They'll wait for the WAWRs and claim the Imperious defense, along with Goyle and Crabbe and a few others.
What a spot-on English accent.
I'm tired. I don't feel like doing accents now.
Even when you're not tired, you don't do character accents.
Dude, I'm always tired.
I'm always tired too, but I put in effort.
Awesome. What has that got you?
Not as far as I would hope, but far enough for now.
That's a good way to look at it.
Soon it will result in my conquest of the Earth.
Okay, lower your ambitions a little bit.
Fuck you. Your line.
Is it my line?
Yes. No, wait. No, no, my line. No, wait, I did do my line. Your line.
But you haven't read The Bloody Cowards yet.
Yes, I did. I said The Bloody Cowards.
Oh, okay. What about Bowl? Bowl, I don't know.
Bowl. Rookwood shrugged. Haven't heard from him or Pusey or Corner. Royal has already left the country. This is beginning to turn a bit Aussie. Gibbon,
a little bit.
The fucking ape, has been completely ignoring all my messages. I'm just thinking back to that bit of Drita dialogue. Elizabeth hasn't been returning my calls. So I have no idea what he's planning.
Oh, no, he hasn't returned your calls because Harry exploded him. Sorry.
Why would he explode the Queen of England?
I was talking about Gibbon, but...
I was talking about Elizabeth.
Oh. I mean, who knows? Harry's not making sense in this story, so...
Elizabeth hasn't returned my calls. Any idea why that would happen? Well, I did challenge her to a fight.
Another man stalked out of the forest. Gibbon has changed his name and gone into hiding.
Rookwood turned to look at the new arrival, then Lestrange just nodded his head.
Welcome, Vindictus. That's bad news for Gibbon, then. They'll find him eventually, and he'll look all the more guilty for it, said Rodolphus.
Okay. Rookwood looked at the new person too. Bulstrode. Did you use proper educations? You led those fools from the Order of the Phoenix to a meeting once before.
Proper precautions. You said educations.
Why am I giving the same voice to both Rodolphus and Rookwood?
I took the precautions, Rookwood.
No one else is coming, Rodolphus asked. Oh, is no one else coming? Rodolphus asked. It depends on how soon you take off your pants.
Both of his listeners shrugged. Bulstrode held up his hand and
I
pointed.
like to imagine Harry shrugged.
Held up his hand and pointed to his fingers. I know Knott has put his manor into a state of readiness to seal up if he's arrested. Rosier buried his father and is just waiting for the Aurors to. I think he's preparing to testify.
Merlin, Rookwood explained. If he does, no one will be able to claim Imperius.
Rodolphus looked amused. I don't think anyone should be able to claim it. Sure, Mulciber used it on a number of ministry types to get us records of where the Mudbloods lived, but none of them were even supporters, which is why they were selected, you see. The best one was Arthur Weasley under the curse, hauling out records of which wizards had registered owning Muggle televisions that ran off magic instead of whatever. Oh, come on. Electricity's not that hard to say.
It is if you don't use it. Harry had to swallow deeply to keep from calling out. Had numerous spies and saboteurs inside the ministry all been reasonably innocent Imperius victims? Sort of made sense. But Arthur... Harry felt rage for the poor man.
Jugson, Rodolphus asked.
Never liked him. Don't know much about him, Bulstrode said. Rookwood just shook his head.
What about the idiots who were freed from the ministry? Bulstrode asked.
God damn it, who's Okay, based on the next line, it's Rudolph.
Mm-hmm.
But in Scrimmagour, he's back under arrest. His own brother brought him in, saved Rufus from being suspended as he's not terribly clean in the Aurora investigation. Bastard used Cruciatus on me a year ago before I managed to escape from a raid gone rogue. Hierophant Umbridge has already claimed Imperius, and his toad of a sister is helping him mount a defense. Can't believe the magical creatures department would hire a woman that looks like she does. Sure, have a bit of fluff. Make sure it's attractive, right? I mean, I guess a person who looks like a frog would be perfect for the magical creatures department, but whatever.
Yeah, he apparently doesn't get that.
It's thematic relevance.
Her dead father got her the job, Rookwood said. She'll likely be gone if anyone with half a brain does a cleanup.
Also, I mean, it's not like she'd be that much of a public figure, so I guess appearance isn't as important. Rodolphus sighed. All our power, all our contacts, it's all gone. The best, brightest minds of 3 generations are dead or likely to be imprisoned.
Bulstrode chuckled. I wouldn't call Umbridge or Jugson or Travers very bright.
Rookwood smiled. But that Lockhart fellow, Talmadge, he certainly had some convincing stories to his name. And then there were the Yaxleys, brilliant and cruel.
What are the Yaxleys doing?
Who's talking?
I don't know.
They decided not to claim Imperius and not to flee. They even refused to help the Karkaroffs and other foreign fighters in their efforts to leave. I think Reginald Yaxley said, "Burn with us or burn without us. Your soul is already judged."
Even Rodolphus seemed impressed at that. People with backbone.
And the other supporters, Runcorn and Magical Transport, Hopkirk, and the misuse of underage magic office, Kentilworth in Games and Sports, that wizard with that revolting mole in the Wizengamot office.
None of them knew.
But Harry had enough for his recording credit. He prepared to launch his attack until he heard something very curious. Oh my god, no!
Oh no! What about the Dark Lord's wife?
Now
we're getting into fanfiction territory. Let's do this.
It's bad enough that one play has it to where, like, Voldemort and Bellatrix hooked up and it resulted in a child. And
Oh, the screenplay or whatever that they not screenplay.
The play.
Not the screenplay, but the
production.
The Curse-born child or something like that.
I don't fucking remember it.
Let's do it.
Harry stopped. Voldemort had taken a wife? Did that evil man have children? The very notion began giving Harry waking up. Okay.
One of the effects of fucking being conceived under the effects of a love potion is the inability to feel like love, affection, whatever. That kind of person, like, I guess one could justify that he could still feel lust. But it bugs me.
I heard Daphnis Cantor killed herself the day after the Dark Lord died.
The children died too, then.
Rockwood just shook his head. It would have been the Dark Heir. They were sure the baby would have been a boy. Well, this took a turn.
Harry let out a sigh of relief. He then began to wonder why none of this had ever come out before, because it hadn't happened. Harry had never heard the name Daphnis Cantor before tonight, or the possibility of a child. Had Daphnis died in the original timeline before giving birth, or had she snuck away with her child to a different part of the world? Even with as much research as Harry had done, he still learned new and disturbing things every day. Like, I don't see many people getting married out of love. Or even, like the misguided belief that he needs to keep property of some sort, with something that drives the idea for a lot of abusive people.
I mean, maybe insurance benefits, but like...
I'm going to take the sword right, drive it through my body. There we go.
Alright, well, you do that. I'm going to read my line, I guess. Harry decided to let the men talk for a bit longer. He didn't want any more surprises to stay hidden. Alright, let's give it a sec.
Fuck!
Welcome back.
That went about as well as I expected.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. When it appeared the meeting with breaking up, Harry moved to. He cast the Imperious Curse on Vindictus Bulstrode and had him say a few words. In case I hadn't mentioned it, gents, I'm going to pick up the pieces and rid the world of all the cowards.
Then the Harry-controlled Bulstrode cast Avada Kedavra at Rodolphus and a Bludgeoner at Rookwood.
Wait. Okay. Let's see. Let me see how that's spelled. Okay, that's spelled like Bludgeoner. We have Bludger. Did this person just take a spell from Pathfinder?
Possibly.
Because that's one of the things I find is Bludgeoner, Pathfinder. Bludgeoner, you can knock out foes. It's not even, it's a feat.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only other thing they could have meant is a bludger, which is one of the bulls in Quidditch.
Mm-hmm. Rodolphus Lestrange dropped to the ground dead.
I did it. Oh, yeah, you did. Okay, that is fine.
The enraged Rookwood shot Bulstrode with the Avada Kedavra curse just as Bulstrode set Rookwood on fire. What?
This makes me irrationally angry. Stop making up spells.
Now it's starting to get interesting.
Stop pretending spells do what they don't, like Reducto not blowing things the fuck up. It was a tiny miracle of timing, and all recorded for prosperity. All the names of the following survivors, the tactics they used, the plans they laid to escape punishment, including detailed analysis of the Imperious defense, and then a double cross from inside the group.
Harry broke the listening charms, but stuck 2 of the crystals inside Rodolphus Lestrange's robes. The Aurors would find the bodies along with the recording crystals soon enough.
Yeah, that wouldn't look like a setup.
No, not at all.
Harry would judge them by what they did with the information. Yeah, it appears that some sort of weird setup happened. I'm really confused.
Okay,
And
yeah.
I don't doubt they said these things, but I doubt that they killed each other this way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, are we ending it on the last thing of this chapter?
Yeah, I don't see why we shouldn't, because we've been going for a little bit over an hour.
We could finish the chapter.
Could we?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, let's try to stay on track. I'm tired of this.
August 3rd, 1978.
Harry spread out the Daily Prophet double edition in front of him. It was quite a bit of reporting.
Is that like whenever comics have that special to where it's like a super-sized special and it's like twice the size of a regular comic?
Possibly.
Voldemort's supporters arrested within the Ministry. 8 in holding cells.
19 former Death Eaters swept up in raids.
Ministry sets rules for public trials. Prepared to serum for all witnesses.
Ministry of Magic appeals to France, Bulgaria, and Russia for extradition of dozens of suspected Death Eaters.
Negotiations with Gringotts continue over use of Death Eater funds as reparations to victims.
Dumbledore to face inquiry over actions as Chief Warlock.
Bottomless Crouch arrested for massive Ministry cover-ups.
Harry liked the news he was reading. It all pointed to things getting better in Britain. But as Moody had always said, practice constant vigilance.
My question is, are they going to give the goblins back their sword?
Maybe. Probably not, though.
Probably not. Wizards are kind of assholes like that.
Just a little bit.
It was possible the Ministry would go too far and accuse the innocent of crimes they hadn't committed. I can't bear to see it. Harry would read the trial transcripts, continue probing the minds of people he encountered from time to time. It was possible that the Ministry would slip back into the corrupt morass it had previously found itself within. That, too, would be monitored.
So Harry has essentially become Big Brother.
Yeah. But most of all, Harry feared Dumbledore running roughshod over the Ministry. The man, even in his current circumstances, could turn to more than persuasion to retake a position of importance. The man could use compulsions or trusting potions or even the Imperium curse for outright control. I'm sorry, I think there's someone shooting fireworks outside and my dog is...
Bark, 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 barf, bark, bark, bark.
Okay. Laugh it up, fuzzball.
I don't know, like that got so stupid. It was...
Mm-hmm.
Dumbledore was now the main obstacle as Harry saw it, to a better Britain. But he was giving the old wizard the benefit of the doubt. He had a seat in the whizzing gamut, and headmaster of Hogwarts. He had the headmaster, if that contented him. Harry would leave him along so long as he could stop mucking about where he wasn't needed. Like the tree outside my window at 2 a.m.
Or Harry doing what he's doing now.
That too.
That wasn't to say that Harry didn't keep up his spying on the old man. He kept listening charms in many places.
Tree outside his window at 2 a.m.
And on many different items of clothing. Harry had tagged Dumbledore several different times when he'd seen the man out in public. Okay, so how's Dumbledore not noticing this?
He's just too busy having gay wizard orgies. He's going to the wizard equivalent of a circuit party.
I guess that's as good a reason as any.
Circuit parties. And then literally just like week-long gay raves. He pulled out a recording crystal and tapped it with his wand.
Thank you for coming to tea, Alpheus?
Alpheus,
thank you. Harry recognized
the name. One of the two.
Alpheus Doge, an old friend of Dumbledore's.
Much stupid, very angst. Of course, old friend. I was very saddened that the order seemed to have crumbled as it did.
Yes, that book from America had its effect.
Why haven't you refuted the charges, Albus?
Dumbledore was quiet for a few moments, because most of the allegations are true.
You can't be serious. No, my brother did in fact fuck goats.
Unfortunately, I did know and befriend Gellert in our younger years. and I did make some decisions that turned out to have questionable merit regarding the estates of certain orphan children in recent years.
Like putting Voldemort in an orphanage. Granted, he would have turned out as an evil asshole because he had no conscience. He was unable to feel affection towards other people.
Mm-hmm.
But that's besides the point.
Mm-hmm.
But the laws, and disregarding... Wait, shit.
You allowed, I think.
No. You allowed the ministry to steal from children without respecting the wills left by their parents.
Albus said nothing, but Harry assumed the man had nodded.
Been your friend for a long time, Albus, but I just don't understand how you could do these things. And not tell me, at least. If you're gonna do crimes, let me in on it. I'd tried to talk you out of... I'd have tried to talk you out of some of it, or at least given you some sort of comfort, sexually, in your bed. With my dick!
Embarrassment, I suppose, kept me from speaking of it. I didn't like the even think about what happened with Gellert. That's not me having a stroke. That's how it's written.
Yes.
I know Aberforth still hates me for it to some extent. After all, it cost us both our sister.
And his ability to fuck goats. But the laws and disregarding wills and giving the ministry that kind of power.
It's all been reversed. The past, my friend, is best left in the past.
Right now, very few think that. Going to have some hard times ahead of you, Albus.
I know. I'll weather it.
Doge was quiet for a few moments. I hope so, but I wouldn't expect it. Pull back and stay out of politics, Albus. Whoever knows all about you seems not to have decided to destroy you. Just rap you on the nose and tell you to behave. I don't know what would happen if you didn't take the warning.
Okay, so his last name is Doge. I just am imagining the Shiba Inu in like a wizard outfit.
Yes, I already made the joke.
I know, but like I'm imagining.
I think we've made the joke several times because this name has popped up quite often.
Has it? But okay.
Yes.
I guess I'm just physically imagining a dog talking with Albus right now. That's
the Shiba Inu talking to Albus Dumbledore with a smug look on its face.
Mm-hmm. I'm an old man, Elphius, and I've seen many things. I'll survive.
That doesn't sound like someone planning to drop out of politics, Albus.
I'm not. I'll lay low for a while, but I won't let the world careen around willy-nilly.
Oh god, they're the same person! You know my counsel, old friend. I pray you listen.
Thank you, Elphius. More tea?
Harry listened to the rest of the crystal, but two old men just talked about their other old friends and old memories. At the least, it was proof that Dumbledore had done what the book had accused him of, and that Dumbledore wasn't with him.
Harry would keep a very close eye on his former headmaster. He'd had his single warning. He would not get a second one.
In accordance to the code of Harry.
Oh God, that has to be the name of this episode. In accordance to the code of Harry.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know. That's.
I think shoddy cover up might work well.
Yeah, that would work too. See y'all next time.
Ninjas.